Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind Podcast. Today's podcast episode number 162, and I'm your host, Jamel Crothers, and it's Book Insight Friday, but I'm not delving into a new book today. Now, I know that I have done podcasts on the Kids with Guns series, parts 1 through 5, but today I want to delve into the character insight of it and what went into me writing a lot of these characters. So for the next 4 weeks on Book Insight Friday, I will be delving into the Kids with Guns series. And I will be doing a few characters per week because there's, I think, about 22 or 23 characters, and there's no way in the world I'm sitting here for nearly an hour talking about every character. So this podcast will be a little bit longer than usual today, but I want to talk to you guys about my journey with writing the Kids with Guns series and how I went about writing these characters and why they were part of the series. Because Kids with Guns, well, it was one of the most controversial series I've written to date, and there was a lot that went into it. Character development was huge, and I wanted to make sure that these characters were believable and relatable. Now, whether you like them or not, I want to bring out the best with my writing when it comes to all of them. And the blog series, well, this will share how I wrote certain characters and my purpose and reason, obviously, for writing the characters, and something I feel is important for you guys to know. I want to give you guys the inside scoop on what goes on in an author's mind. So, here we go. First character, and the first one you actually meet in Kids with Guns Part 1 is Lena, and she is a student of the school. You never hear a young kid's perspective of a school shooting, the feelings and emotions that go through their minds while it's happening and the aftermath. And if you watch the news, it doesn't give you the full feel of what these young kids go through when something like this happens. You know, it's tragic. And, well, this is where Lena comes in. Now she's inquisitive, smart, and intuitive to a lot of things as a young adolescent. And it's something you'll see as the series progresses. And I did this so you can focus on a young character in this series. And she pays attention to detail, and you'll come to like that about her. The next character, Charles. He's a student also. He's an athlete and a popular jock, and it was fitting that I write a character like this. But his run-ins with Matthew and Max, who are the shooters, will come to light in the series. And while he's on his way to a great future, this school shooting changes the landscape of his life and derails a lot of his dreams. And I write things in a realistic fashion, and he's someone that you'll feel and emote with throughout the series. The next character is Jerry, and he is a teacher of the school. And he's surely someone who you'll come to love, but after this school shooting, his mindset on life changes. You'll start to see what I mean when you read his character in the series. He's conflicted, emotional, mentally tired, and questioning his purpose in life after the school shooting. And an elder statesman in the series was necessary, and it's a fresh perspective of what a teacher feels and goes through, trying to protect those he teaches when a school shooting is happening. And there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm glad I was able to develop a solid character like him for the complete series. And just to give you a heads up, those 3 characters are in all 5 books. John, he's a police officer. Now imagine being a police officer, and throughout your career, you've saved countless lives, helped people in their time of need, protected those in your community, and then you get a call from dispatch that there's an active school shooting in your community. What goes through a police officer's mind at that moment? That's what I wanted to write with John, and you'll learn who he is, his backstory, along with his family. This is what the news doesn't report. These are the stories that aren't told. And this is why I write characters like John. He's an important component to the series, and you'll surely see why as time goes on. The next character, Lenny. He's a task force officer. Now think of the life of a task force officer. A lot of training, staying in shape, going into emergency situations, but think of him going into the middle of an active school shooting. Think of all the adrenaline that these task officers feel. They may train for these situations their whole career, and they never go into a school shooting. Now, at the drop of a hat, you get a call. And now you're putting on your armor, getting your guns ready, and going into one of the most dangerous situations of your career. Once again, another story and situation that doesn't get reported on the news. And another story I felt I had to tell. Hearing Lenny's words will make you think and feel something. That was the goal in all of this. And I'm glad I incorporated him into the series. The next character, Joanne. She is an EMT worker, or you can say EMS worker. Now, life of an EMT worker is to be ready, alert, and helping people in emergency situations. Think of Joanne being alerted to an active school shooting and what she's thinking about in her mind. Riding with your partner to the school, the adrenaline that's going through your body as you have to be calm and relax yourself so you're coherent and able to help whoever needs you in the moment you walk into that school. And this is what happens in real life. But once again, you don't hear it from these people. The ones who sacrifice their lives to save other ones. Seeing bullets and blood all over the floors and walls of a school building and sacrificing your safety, not knowing if the shooters will come back. Scary, isn't it? That's the whole point. To write all of this to make you feel and think about how precious life really is and how tragic events can happen in the blink of an eye. Hearing Joanne's account of the events that happened that day, you'll really understand how crazy life is, how much we take for granted those who go into fields that are hard, stressful, and affect your mental health daily. After reading Joanne's story, there's hope you understand things a little bit better. The next character, Jocelyn. She's a doctor. Now, a normal average day at work all of a sudden turns into kids and adults being rushed into your hospital on gurneys full of blood. Yes, that's what happens with Jocelyn, a doctor at a hospital for years, who would never think that something this horrific would happen on her watch. But it did. These are moments in time that you can't ever prepare for, but you just know that things happen suddenly. Think about her having to be calm, focused, and knowing what to do for every patient that comes through those doors. Not easy, but it has to be done. And this is her story from that day. I have to write this from a realistic standpoint so you fully understand what goes into me writing all of these characters. It's the love and passion I put into it and how necessary it is to tell these stories and help people to understand what happens outside of what's reported to you on your television screen. With Jocelyn, I feel that I provided that. So those are the first few characters of this book series. And I need you guys to understand that the news that you're watching is only going to give you what they want to give you. They're not going to give you different perspectives of the story. They may give it from, okay, the shooters were there, active, you're going to get a helicopter shot, you're going to get, your police officers, your task force, your FBI agents, whatever it is. But they're going to craft it the way they want to craft it. They're not going to give you the perspectives of what everyone else is going through and experiencing. Just think, how many doctors are you going to hear from, or nurses, that are in these operating rooms trying to save kids and trying to save teachers and trying to save faculty members and, things of that nature? You're not going to hear that. You're just not. You're going to get active shooting, the amount of deaths, the guns that were used, the mental health aspect of it, the same MO of the same guns that are used, which is constantly the AR-15, the agendas of gun control and how all of these things need to be changed and all of these propagandized stories that they want to report to you. But they're not going to talk to you about the EMT workers that are trying to drive through a whole slew of traffic, trying to get these people to the hospital to save their lives, and how you've got to keep their heart rate going and you got to keep talking to them as they've been riddled with bullets throughout their body. No, you don't hear that, do you? Think about all the school shootings that have happened in the past 20, 25 years. Just start with Columbine and go through all of these school shootings and think about all of the news reports. They're all the same. They are. They report it a certain way and they want to keep you in fear. But they don't want to tell you all of the people that are really involved in these situations and what exactly happens. And they don't tell you all the behind the scenes stuff. But if you fully investigate it and you fully look into things and you pay attention to little subtle signs that they're reporting to you on the news instead of just focusing on the news anchor or focusing on the reporter at the scene, you'll get a full understanding of what's really going on. And that's what I need you guys to understand. And that's what goes into writing these books. And that's what goes into all of these characters. And this is why I wrote the series. It will throw you for a loop as you continue to read the book series. I promise you that. So if you guys choose to go down that route, I definitely would advise you to really be prepared for certain things to be said that you won't expect. But it will force you to think, and it will force you to kind of dig deeper and do some research on what's really going on. But anyway, those are the first few characters. Stay tuned because next week I'll be kind of delving into a few more characters of the series, and it's gonna get good. So I definitely want you guys to stay tuned for that. And with that said, that is my podcast for today. I hope you guys had a really good week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.